Hey everybody, Adrian Charleston, Butterfly Flow, uh, Butterfly, however you want to say it. And today I just want to talk to you a little bit. September is Suicide Prevention Month, and suicide awareness. And I've had clients ask me in the past, how can they help someone who's having issues with wanting to harm themselves? And the first thing is, as always, it's okay to ask. Like you can ask somebody, are you having thoughts of harming yourself? You're not giving them the idea, because if they've already had the idea, they will answer yes or no. I've had this. This is what's going on, and they may be more apt to open up to you. And if someone answers yes, and they have a plan and they've decided that they, want to kill themselves and they've let you know, they said, yes, this is what I want to do. Don't leave them. Stay with that person, stay with them. Um, Call for help, have somebody else go get some help. If you don't know what to say and do, which 9 times out of 10 we don't, just stay with them until you can get them to somewhere or a place or people that can help, or until somebody arrives. Um, that can help. But people, place, person, whatever you've done, whatever you've called, whatever has happened. So that's that's one thing. Um, let's see, another thing. People want to know the signs and symptoms, and it's different for every person. So it's difficult to to exactly pinpoint what the signs and symptoms are. Sometimes it can be isolation. Sometimes it could be, just hiding away. It can look like a deep depression, and for some people, and this is the thing that a lot of people don't catch, is when someone who was in a deep depression and they become extremely happy, um, which can also look like bipolar. However, a lot of times when someone who wants to harm themselves, kill themselves, someone who wants to unalive themselves. That's the word that people have been using lately. Um, they'll go through, sometimes, like I said, everyone is not the same, because we are people, and there are outliers and differences in everything that we do as individuals. But it can look like being very depressed, very sad, withdrawing, and then becoming happy. And in that happiness, they're giving away things, they're emptying bank accounts, giving away prized possessions or things that you thought were their prized possessions, and just overall giddiness. And it's weird, because the reason that they are happy is because they've decided when they were going to do it, how they were going to do it, and they're just preparing themselves, and they're happy about the thought of ending their life. Now, again, this doesn't go for everybody. However, I want you to be mindful, because this is the one thing that a lot of people miss, the giving away, the increased happiness. Because once you see that somebody is happy, you're like, oh good, they're good. Like, this is, but that's not always the case. The happiness could be, uh, you know, I've made my decision. This is what's going to happen. And especially if they're giving away things that you know that they like and love, be very mindful of that. Um, and again, it's difficult to pinpoint. You and a lot of people beat up on themselves, because in their mind they're like, I should have known. 9 times out of 10, they don't want you to know. And when you kind of figure it out, they try to hide it and cover it up. And it's like, no, something's going on with you. What is it? And then you ask the questions. Are you having the thoughts? What's going on? Do I need to get you some help? And sometimes people will continue to cover it up. Sometimes they will say, yes, I need some help. These are my thoughts. The one thing, they don't want to hear solutions. They don't want to hear there's a lot of things to live for, because for them at that moment there's nothing. And a lot of times you will hear people say things like, "Yeah, well, if I didn't wake up in the morning, it'd be okay," or "I wouldn't be missed by anyone if I got run over by a bus today." And be mindful of your friends and family when they say those things. And a lot of times they'll say it jokingly, but it could be a serious thing. And it's one of those things, again, that is difficult to pinpoint. It can be something as simple as I can't think of anything right now when I already said, people sometimes say, I don't want to wake up in the morning. If I didn't wake up, it'd be okay. And sometimes these are passive suicidal thoughts. That doesn't mean they want to harm themselves, but if something happened to them, they weren't going to try to stop it, or they would be okay not living. And just be mindful when people are hopeless, when they say they don't have anything, or and they're telling you this, like, I've got nothing. There's nothing to live for. Nobody loves me. Nobody cares for me. There's nothing for me to do in life. Those are hopeless statements. They're hopeless. They don't have any hope for the future. They feel that they're not loved. They feel that other people will be better off. And that's another one. The world would be better off without me. My family would be better off without me. Things like that. And when you hear people saying that, that's the hopeless hopelessness that they're letting you know that they have. And it comes out in those different statements. So just pay attention to your friends and family when you're talking to them about things, because it comes out differently for different people. And um, if so, for those of you who have experienced those who have committed suicide in their life, it is not your fault. Just know that if you didn't know, they didn't want you to know. You didn't figure it out, they didn't want you to figure it out. Unless you absolutely did something in that moment to help them do it, it is not your fault. So remember that, because people always want to say, I could have, I would have, if I was there, if I'd have answered the phone, if I could have been, if this, if this, if this. But a lot of times, what people don't understand, that sometimes when people actually want to do it, even if you were there, you just moved it to another point. Unless that person is getting help and they want to change, and it sounds bad, because there are people who, no matter what, want to do that to themselves. And I always go back to the Miss North Carolina. Um, she decided that she didn't want to live past a certain age, and she killed herself before or right around that age, and I think it was 30, something like that. And I have been seeing that with a lot of young people, um because we as adults, we talk about these things like adulting sucks. Hey, sucks to be an adult. Oh, we should have stayed kids. And guess what? They're hearing that. So now there are this set of children who are becoming adults, who don't want to live past 20, because they think it's going to be that bad. They feel that they're not going to be able to handle it, to deal with it, to move forward, and to become productive adults, because we talk about how bad it is. And sometimes we're joking, sometimes we're not. But we have to be mindful to allow the young adults in our lives that are 17, 18, and coming up, into adulthood, to let them know that living life is gonna, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna suck sometime, but it's gonna be okay for the most part. We just have this thing that, oh, adulting sucks and all this other stuff. But when I tell you, it's been this, it seems like it's been a growing thing. So I will say, absolutely check on your teens, your graduating teens, your 11th, 12th graders around that area, and sometimes even the ones that are already in college, and some that are about to graduate college, because sometimes you have 18-year-olds that are going into the world, and that's what they don't want to do. And then sometimes you have the college students graduating and going into the world, and they feel that they can't do it. So that is another subset of people to look out for, and to be mindful of what you say around them, and listen to what they're saying. If they're saying, well, I don't want to be an adult, I'm not going to ever, like, those are some signs, those are some symptoms, those are some things to look out for in the people that you love and are around and are here for and take care of. Um, and I'm trying to think if there's any more. Just know that they've changed the suicide crisis mental health hotline to a 988. That's it. You can text it, you can call it. It's very simple. It's 988. Hit it up. If you need some help, helping someone, if you know someone who needs help and you can get them to call the number, do whatever you can do and help someone, get them to therapy, get them to talk to someone. Because remember, the regular person out there is not equipped to always help somebody. Even when you get someone to a therapist, sometimes that therapist has to get that person to an inpatient facility because depending on where they are in their thought process and how comfortable the therapist feels with them going home. So it's a lot of things that go into it that not just anybody can deal with. So I'm going to go back to the beginning where I said if somebody's voice to you, they want to harm themselves, they have a plan, all the things that they want to do, don't leave them. Call for help. 988 is the crisis line. Also, or if you can get somebody else to get some help, get them to where they need to be. Stay with them as they're going through it, as you know, if you're allowed. Because sometimes, like inpatient stuff, a lot of times the emergency rooms will take it, and you go through the emergency room and figure some things out, and then they decide what's going to happen from there. But just just be as mindful as you can, and also remember that if you miss anything and someone actually does it, it is still not your fault. This is something that they've decided to do. It is not something that you had a hand in. Because again, and I always, it's a saying that suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And sometimes people can't see the other side of that problem. So they make that permanent solution because they don't see the better. They can't see the light at the end, or, what can come, what they can do. And sometimes you can't make them realize that either. But I will say that doesn't stop us from doing our best. It doesn't stop us from trying to help others. It doesn't help us. It doesn't stop us from asking the question. So do that and read up on some information for suicide prevention, suicide awareness, and yeah, I think that's it for today. So thank y'all for watching. Um, Today's sponsor, as always, is www.butterflyflowlife. I'm sorry, www.butterflyflow.life. It's not a .com, it's a .life, because butterfly flow is life, and when you get there, you can be, you can shop, and you can flow. We have books, shirts, um, calendars, planners, bathing suits. We have a little bit of everything for a little bit of everybody. So this is one of the shirts, therapists productively enhancing lives, because that's what therapists do, and I mean all therapists, like counseling therapists, physical therapists, occupational therapists, speech therapists. They're always productively enhancing lives in one way or another. So, so yeah, so that's it. So thank y'all so much for watching. Click subscribe, share, and all those good things. And I'll be back with talking about something soon. So love y'all. Bye.